New head coach, new quarterback. This game is looking the way it's supposed to, but at least I see fight and passion from this Penn State team, and that's what matters.
You are Locked On Nittany Lions, your daily podcast on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into another live edition of Locked On Nittany Lions, your daily source for all things Penn State sports. My name is Zach Sako, and I'm your host of the show, credentialed media member for both Penn State football and Penn State wrestling. Just a brief halftime recap, 15 to 20 minutes here. Talk about the adjustments that Terry Smith has made. Okay, first-time head coach, but I got to give him a lot of credit here with between he, Jim Knowles, and Andy Kotelnicki, what they've decided. They're at least making changes. They are trying something. It's not the same old status quo, and it has paid off to an extent. But it's a defensive slugfest. This is kind of what most of us should have anticipated here. My final score prediction was 20-17. Iowa. I did think Iowa was going to win this game, but I was impressed with the kind of fire and passion that Penn State came out with in the first half. Questions in the live chat would be greatly appreciated. So let's not waste any more time here. Let's talk about this one from the adjustments that have been made. Okay. So Terry Smith talked about emptying the clip, right? Holding nothing back here. And to an extent, they're doing some of that. They're also not doing some of that because, again, this is Terry Smith's first game calling the shots. Ethan Grunkemeyer is a redshirt freshman quarterback starting his first game. May I remind everybody. So this is kind of really going exactly how I thought it would against a top 10 Iowa defense. Phil Parker, who's been doing this for a long time. Let me make a correction here. Did I have my score? I think I had the score incorrect. Oh, I see. I didn't even see this touchdown at the end of the first half. Wow, that's funny. I set up shop to go, and it was blocked. Wow, it was blocked. So there we go. This is why we do this live, right? So that's great. Penn State's up 14-10. Well, this changes a lot of things now, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It's same thing, right? No, that's great. 14-10. Geez, I said, okay, halftime's here. It's all good. Well, there you go. There's that fire. There's that passion. And Penn State's winning now 14-10. So they get the defensive interception by Zach Wheatley, the one-handed interception. And then you have the blocked field goal here. I don't even know why does Iowa try a 66-yard field goal there? They're asking for trouble. So there you have it. There you have it on full display that this team's playing with so much more energy, so much more juice, and it's resulted in 2 touchdowns for Penn State because the offense is struggling. They're struggling, okay? But that's why coaching is such a huge part of this. Because we see why people were calling for Drew Aller to be benched. You can see why Ethan Grunkemeyer is the backup. Okay. Drew Aller and the offense had its struggles for a reason. But again, this is a top 10 Iowa defense. So I don't blame Grunkemeyer for not being calm, cool, collected, making every single correct read. It's going to be a work in progress, but I like what they're doing. I was not expecting the Andy Kotelnicki 2-quarterback system returning to his roots. Jackson Smolik being a dual threat quarterback that they're just running some more QB option, things like that. They are true. They're pulling out all the stops. I like that they simplified Jim Knowles' defense. Now is not the time to try to incorporate all the moving parts to your system. It is time to simplify things, dial it back, and just let these guys adjust little by little. And notice how, again, it's 14-10. It should be 14-3. I don't even know that I put that interception on Grunkemeyer. It happens. Could Luke Reynolds have caught that? Maybe. Hits him right in the face mask and bounces into the hands of an Iowa defensive back. It's not like that was a missed read per se. It was a bad bounce. And Penn State could be up by a lot more points. So costly interception inside the red zone there leads to 10 extra points. But Penn State is winning this game. I'm surprised that Iowa has gone, and when I mean winning, I'm not talking about by luck. They have put themselves, they're making the right plays. Even if they were down 10-7 here and don't get that blocked field goal to deflate the crowd, take the momentum away, which is obviously great going into halftime, you have to feel good about what you saw so far, 10-7. You had to feel really good. I get it. Offense looks clunky. It looks disjointed at times. I understand that. But to see, hey, Penn State's trying 2 quarterbacks. Hey, Penn State's playing Katron Allen more often. Kobe Howard gets into the ball game. They're dedicating more resources to stopping the run because Iowa was just gashing them. And then Jim Knowles makes an immediate correction. So when you look at, this isn't even about James Franklin, just looking at the different changes that they've made on the fly here. Maybe it is about James Franklin, okay? Because I don't know if James would have authorized any of these changes going into Iowa like this. Because what does Terry Smith have to lose? Pull out all the stops, empty the clip, right? Run 2 quarterbacks, use your running backs effectively, rotate other playmakers in. I like that we've seen Andy Kotelnicki's creativity a little more on display, even though it hasn't worked to perfection. They're still moving the football. They're sustaining drives to an extent. Again, this is a top 10 Iowa defense on the road. First career start for a redshirt freshman. If you were expecting Grunkemeyer and the offense, which has already looked pretty rough to this point, if you were expecting them to put up 30, 40 points against this Iowa defense, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. And then on the defensive side of the football, like I said, the adjustment, Zach Wheatley spying Mark Gronowski. Great. Awesome plus. Glad they figured out the quarterback spy sooner rather than later. Keon Wiley and just kind of cycling in some more linebackers, or at least putting more linebackers on the football field rather than just being archaic and stuck with the 4-2-5 defense. You're putting Keon Wiley up at the line of scrimmage. You're rotating Denai Dennis Sutton is being used like Abdul Carter to an extent. I don't personally agree with that, but if it's going to work, if it's going to force Iowa to make adjustments, so be it. Now, it's not a true, DDS is being, but they're moving him around the formation. They're lining him up in one place. They're dropping him as a QB spy. It's just because DDS isn't as athletic as an Abdul Carter is. So that's why I don't necessarily agree with it. But taking your best playmaker and putting him in this kind of hero role type, is this the Jack linebacker that we're seeing? Because it's a little different than what I'm used to seeing from watching, Ohio State play last season, and they would rotate Jack Sawyer and things like that. So still, right, I have to make adjustments and learn Jim Knowles' defense week to week here, trying to understand it fully. But we're just seeing really different schematics here for Penn State, and it's thrown Iowa off to this point. Penn State's keeping this game close. Not a lot of people outside of Happy Valley were probably going to say, hey, Penn State can win this one. I know that people were trying to, some people would argue that, this is UCLA 2.0 with the way that they're going to rally. They look the part. And that's a testament to Terry Smith. They're winning 14-10. Blocked field goal helps. So, but expect more of it. Possessions, 10, 11, 12 play drives, win time of possession, don't turn the ball over, and you can win this game. Control field position, that's how you win this game. And Terry Smith is doing that to a T. No pun intended for Terry. He's doing that to a T. Andy Kotelnicki you're seeing him in full control of the offense. I don't think James Franklin was calling plays per se in the middle of the game. I don't think there's enough time to do that. But Andy Kotelnicki now has his full play sheet to call from. And I like that Jim Knowles has dialed his system back to allow the defense to be a little more aggressive. Those are the key takeaways here. Let's get your thoughts in the live chat. Cool to see it in real time, right? That Penn State blocks that field goal. I thought the half was over. I'm like, hey, we're ready to go. No, fireworks, and I missed the play. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this game and get your contributions over in the live chat. Thanks so much for joining me on this live edition of Locked On Nittany Lions. And this episode is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIH Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. From footwork to breath work, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from the smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. That's Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's episode is also brought to you by SupplyHouse. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, you get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today. See parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Do you need parts fast for a project? Well, SupplyHouse has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The Part Finder tool and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process smoother. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That is SHCollege5, supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. And let's dive over into the live chat. Thank you so much for joining me here at halftime. Penn State leads 14-10. Breaking news to me, since I didn't know that, but now we do. Oh, I see. Yes, frustrated with quarterback play here. Just see who can contribute next year. With the transfer portal and new coaching staff, if Terry Smith is the head coach moving forward, right? He has an opportunity to prove himself. This is as important of a game for him as it is for anybody else. Okay. Whether that's at Penn State or a new destination, right? The transfer portal does complicate things. So I can't assume, oh, well, he'll be back next year. You don't know at the end of the day. You don't know. QB looks bad and they still aren't spreading it to the wide receivers. So a couple of things. Wide receivers are being fairly inconsistent. They're just not. Nobody gets open. Nobody gets open consistently. Okay. And it's tough when you're either Drew Aller or Ethan Grunkemeyer. You go through your first read, and when you're a one-read quarterback right now, like Ethan Grunkemeyer, I respect that Grunkemeyer he's seeing the playing field for the most part a little more advanced than he should, right? This is a first time start for him. This is his first career start. He's a redshirt freshman, but he is making adjustments. He is making changes in a hostile environment. For anybody that remembers the 2021 debacle with Taquan Roberson and all of that stuff, this is just, I think because we know how bad it can get, that this doesn't upset me as much. This doesn't frustrate me as much. I didn't have lofty expectations for Grunk, okay? It's the situation. It's everything kind of piling up together. In my mind, he's doing just fine. He's doing fine. He has 2 interceptions, but one was essentially an arm punt. The other one off Luke Reynolds' face mask. I don't know. It's not like he tossed it right to the cornerback. He's doing okay. Could he be better? Absolutely. Could the wide receivers be better? Yes. They're not creating separation. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why they can't create separation off of the line of scrimmage. The first step, the first 5 yards are just such a problem, whether for the past 3 years. Is that going to fall on Marcus Hagans? Is it the wide receivers that they're bringing in or trying to develop that guys just don't have a great first move? I'm not entirely sure. But the wide receivers getting open inconsistently, not getting open pretty much at all, that's not going to help your quarterback when it's his first career start. So I see we're just, and try to keep the important players from transferring. It's going to be, depending on who it is. If it's Terry Smith, I'm not ruling out Terry Smith as taking over as the full-time head coach, but he has to do a lot. They have to beat Iowa. They have to beat Ohio State. They have to beat Indiana. They do. Seriously, if Terry Smith and this Penn State team, if they drop Ohio State, I will give the kind of most reasonable scenario for Terry Smith to potentially remove the interim label. If you beat everybody on the schedule except one of Ohio State or Indiana, I think that's pretty reasonable to just promote him from there. If you went out, I mean, the conversation gets even better for him, right? I'm not trying to say that it's likely or anything like that, but in Terry's situation, you're really surprising the world, as he said. Let's go shock the world, right? So quarterback is what it is. You can only do so much. And I like the two quarterbacks. I like the wrinkle of it. It forces Iowa to make adjustments. Okay. Phil Parker's job, defensive coordinator for Iowa, it is a lot easier for him when the playbook you think would naturally shrink. And it has from Grunkemeier's perspective. You don't have all the same aspects of the playbook that Drew Aller has compared to Ethan Grunkemeyer. But then you start maybe doing some running back wildcat. You throw Jackson Smolik in there. You do some different things. You do some different formations. That's important for Grunkemeier to at least take the pressure off of him. It forces Iowa to pay attention to all these other moving parts so that the entire focus is not on Grunk. And I think Kotelnicki has done a good enough job under the circumstances. Remember, Penn State's offensive line still is what it is to this point. Penn State's wide receivers still are what they are to this point. You have Katron Allen. Nicholas Singleton has let the team down a lot this season. And under the circumstances, they're winning. They're moving the football. A couple fluke interceptions. I mean, Penn State, hey, I didn't think they'd punch that touchdown in. They went for it on fourth down a couple of times. I think Grunkemeier and Kotelnicki and Knowles are playing above expectations. Okay? That's what they're doing. I understand that, hey, it's still Penn State. Penn State should be performing a lot better. But against this level of competition here, this is a massive step up for the team. They lost to UCLA. They lost to Northwestern. And now they're doing this on the road against Iowa. I got to give credit where credit's due. But it's a close game. Here's where I'm going to have to wrap things up, as they're going to pick up with the second half here. And like I said, this was brief just to kind of summarize everything here. Keys to winning this game. Staying ahead. Okay, talked about it. Time of possession. Absolutely no turnovers. If you can force one from Iowa again, would be great, but it's not going to be perfect. You also have to find a way to bottle up the ground game. Fortunately for Penn State, I say this kidding, kind of don't, but Iowa still struggles with the concept of a forward pass. Quarterbacks, we think that Penn State has quarterback and wide receiver problems. Iowa does too. Use that to your advantage if you're Jim Knowles in Penn State. You're seeing single coverage on the outside. A.J. Harris in one-on-one situations. Elliott Washington, Zion Tracy. All those guys are better. You can take Zachy Wheatley out of coverage to spy Gronowski if he decides to get a little risky and try to move outside of the pocket. Okay? It is very simple to stop this Iowa offense. Account for the play action. Sell out for the run. You can win one-on-one against these wide receivers if you're A.J. Harris, Zion Tracy, Elliott Washington, Audavian Collins, and they have to this point. Game plan, it doesn't look perfect, and it shouldn't, but they're executing it as well as they can, and they're performing a lot better than I anticipated in this one. And that's saying something. I know it's not the best, but on the road, new coach, new quarterback, a lot of adjustments on both sides of the football, and they're winning 14-10. My name is Zach Sako. I'm the host of Locked On Nittany Lions. As always, your daily source for all things Penn State sports. Thank you for joining me on this live edition of the show to just get some halftime thoughts out there. Live postgame show, live reaction after this one. It goes final. Hopefully Penn State is still leading, but it's going to be an uphill battle from there. Until then, thank you so much for the support on the show. Thank you so much for joining me on this live show, and looking forward to all of the same here on the post-game show. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you then.